All right. Brian here, Pajamas Poker. We're going to talk about a couple real exciting poker hands that I've had over the last couple sessions. And, I just also want to mention that direction of this channel will be just me talking about poker hands. I don't really want to whip out a camera phone at a table. It's too much attention. And I think this is easier to do. And for now, I'm going to do this. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. No big deal. And some of the videos I'm going to put out will be about WoW, because I do like that game. And I know people like those clips, so we'll do some of that too. But here we go. So first hand, we're opening up a brand new game. I notice I'm buying in for 300 max, and this other guy's buying in 300 max, and he's 2 to my right, and I feel like we're going to get into some action. And to give you a little bit of pretext to this hand, the previous hand, he raises 11, and the guy to my right makes it 35, it folds around, and he shows pocket kings. So the very next hand, I have the button. By the way, all 3 of these hands that we're going to talk about, I'm on the button. So I'm on the button. Same kid goes, let's try this again, and throws out 11 again. And I think, I'll represent kings, because I have kings, 2 red ones. I make it 35. And he looks at me, and he laughs and calls. So then the flop comes jack high, 3 clubs. And I have 2 red kings, so I don't have the club draw. He checks. I throw out approximately 100 in my mind, and it's 105. And he goes into the tank. And I hear him mutter, did I just run into aces or kings again? And I pull out my earbud, and I'm like, yeah, man, you ran into kings again. And I say this because I'm fine winning the pot. And he starts to catch that vibe that he kind of wants me to fold. So he's like, oh, so you actually do have kings? And I'm like, yeah, man. And he's like, they must be red then. And I'm like, well, you must have 2 black queens then, right? And with a queen of clubs, that's why you're thinking about this. And then he laughs but doesn't admit to it. And then we have 2-3 minutes worth of banter, and eventually he says, I feel like I need to get him to call. So I eventually say, maybe I just have ace king or, pocket deuces. Maybe your queens are way ahead. And I go, why don't you just show me as you're folding? And then I'm lifting up my hand, and then he's like, oh, I'm not folding. I'm going all in. And I'm like, all right, cool. I call. I got kings. I go, you got queens, right? And he's like, yep, with the flush draw. And all right, let's go. And then no club comes out. I win. I double up. I leave, a few minutes later. I only had a 15-minute session, doubled up. And then the next day I come in, and it's about 9 in the morning, and there's only one game. And I get the 1 seat, buying for 300. Game's not that good. There's an under the gun limper, a couple other limps, and I'm on the button with pocket kings. This time I make it 18 because I don't think the table's calling 35. Under the gun player calls, the rest fold. So under the gun player is usually the tightest position. This guy should have something pretty strong here. And the flop comes 9-9-7 with a flush draw, clubs flush draw. He checks. I bet 33. He calls. Turn comes an ace of spades, so now there's a backdoor flush draw, and he leads out 50. But I don't think he has an ace here. It just feels really fishy for him to have an ace. Why did he call 33 really quickly if he just has an ace? I don't know. He might just fold that flop. So it feels more like he has a pocket pair, which leads to me to believe queens or jacks, something like that, maybe tens. I'm beating all those hands. And for him to lead out 50 just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right. And the way he's looking, he's not giving me eye contact. I'm trying to banter with him, and he won't give me any response. And his head's down, kind of eye contact away from me, kind of, And then and then when he shifts in his seat, And then I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm all in. And then he instantly calls. I'm like, oh, shit. And we get a queen on the river, which I'm like, I don't want a queen if you have queens, no. And then I show him kings, and he shows me king jack of spades. So he turned the backdoor nut flush draw, and was fine with getting it all in, I guess. So I doubled up against another flush draw with kings. Ooh, excuse me. So now the third hand is like the most exciting hand, I think. So I'm on the button again, limps and folds around, and I make it $10. And the small blind is a guy that I don't know him, but he feels like a local. He definitely feels like a very knowledgeable poker player. Doesn't seem too dumb. The vibe I'm getting is he plays poker like a lot and knows what's going on, at least. So he makes it $41. It's pretty large after I only made it 10 on the button, but I'm also on the button, so I could look like a pretty weak hand here. So I have ace king though, and I usually don't mind folding. I could fold ace king in the spot, honestly, but I always play it weak. I like to fold it a lot. I like to usually limp and call pre-flop, not even make my own raises pre-flop most of the time, and just play it passively until I hit an ace or a king, and then play it aggressively. But I'm like kind of representing weakness right here in pre-flop, and this is the whole hand basically. So I'm pre-flop sitting there like basically tanking and being like, $30 more, man. This hand is like, I'd rather just have $30. And I'm like dragging it out. And then that basically, what you got to realize in poker is sometimes you don't necessarily know what someone has, right? But you kind of get a vibe of what they don't have and play off of that. And if you convince yourself that someone doesn't have something, you can play around that. And usually it's a very good strategy if you are very convinced that someone doesn't have a certain hand. And this guy's just wrong, right? I played this pre-flop so weak that he's confused. So he thinks, he's convinced himself pre-flop that I don't have ace king when I do, which is perfect for me. And essentially the flop comes ace 10, brag, and he instantly checks, and I instantly bet $82. And the logic behind this is, the quicker I bet, first of all, the weaker I look, and I want to look weak, so I need to bet quick. 82 looks like an oversized bet, and it looks like a bluff because all I've done is doubled his pre-flop bet from 41 to 82, right? So there's at least 82 out there. But I want him to have the vibes like I have like a pair now, like maybe queens or jacks, so that he thinks if he has an ace that he's good, right? And I'm hoping right now he has ace queen or ace jack, and I'm just crushing him. I don't think even ace 10 is in his range. I don't think he goes 41 pre-flop with ace 10. I think ace jack would have been the lowest ace he would have done that with. And I'm more likely putting him on something like a pocket pair. I'm hoping he has eights or nines or jacks or queens, right? Because then I'm just crushing him. So the turn is a gin card. The turn is the king. So now I have top two pair. And his reaction to that is to instantly go all in. So I've turned top two pair. In my mind, I'm like, I'm not folding this hand. I feel like I have the goods here. I think I've trapped this guy the way I've played it. I think he's semi-bluffing. He's probably got a hand like ace king or ace queen or ace jack at this point. And I don't see myself ever folding this hand. So I pick up my hand and show it and say, are we chopping? And as I look at him, he's already like head down, not looking at me. And I'm like, did you flop a set? And he's just not moving. And he won't even look at the cards. I'm like, you don't even want to look at this? And I guess he's already seen a glimpse of it before I turned my head, because I lifted it up pretty quick. And you can just tell he's so sad that I'm even thinking and showing top two pair right now. So within like 5 seconds, I don't fuck around too long. 5 seconds later, I'm already saying, I'm all in too. I call. And he just goes off. He's like, what? How can you have ace king here? He shows me ace queen, by the way. The river's a queen, so he has now two worse pair. Luckily, it wasn't a jack or he would have had Broadway. So I'm doubling up. And he's just going, oh, how could you have ace king here? I don't get it. I don't see how you could have it here. And he literally goes on for 20 minutes about how I couldn't have ace king here. It was pretty funny. And I didn't even respond once. I didn't give him one word responses. I didn't give him any rude of anything. I didn't give him even a single word. And he went on for that long about the same. It was so funny, actually, just listening to him be so mad. And then I just basically left. Oof. Yawn. Well, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Likes, comments, questions, concerns, all cool. Thanks for being you. Stay happy out there. Peace.